Love is a delicate balance of emotions, attention, and attraction. In the beginning, everything feels effortless. She's engaged, affectionate, and eager to be around you. The connection is strong, and there's an unspoken certainty that you both enjoy each other's company. But then, something changes. Maybe you start pulling back, focusing more on yourself, or simply losing interest. At first, she seems indifferent, acting as if your absence doesn't bother her. But then, almost out of nowhere, she starts behaving differently. Suddenly, she's reaching out more, asking about your day, reminiscing about old memories, or finding ways to be around you. You notice small shifts. Her messages become more frequent. She pays extra attention to how she looks when she sees you, or she brings up things she knows will spark a reaction. It's as if the moment you stopped chasing, she started running after you. This isn't just a coincidence, it's a natural response to a shift in dynamics. When a woman realizes she's losing someone she once had control over, her instincts kick in. She may become more affectionate, test your resolve, or even play mind games to regain the upper hand. What happens next depends entirely on how you handle the situation. Understanding the psychology behind these reactions will help you navigate them with confidence. Whether you choose to rekindle the connection or move forward independently, the key is to stay in control of your emotions and not fall into old patterns. Because the truth is, the person who holds emotional control in a relationship often holds the power. Number 1. She becomes more attentive. When a woman senses that she is losing your interest, one of the first things she does is become noticeably more attentive. It's a shift that may feel sudden, but it is deeply rooted in human psychology. People tend to place a higher value on things they feel they are losing, and when she realizes that your attention is no longer freely given, she begins to work harder to regain it. Her behavior changes in subtle but clear ways. She starts texting you more often, asking about your day, and taking an increased interest in your thoughts, emotions, and daily activities. She may even begin bringing up inside jokes or shared memories, hoping to re-establish the emotional connection you once had. One of the most obvious signs of this increased attentiveness is her effort to be more present in your life. If she used to be somewhat distant or inconsistent in her communication, she now makes a point to check in more frequently. She suddenly wants to know how you're feeling, what you're up to, and what's on your mind. You might notice her engaging more in deep conversations, asking thoughtful questions, or remembering small details you mentioned in passing. This shift is not random. It's a strategic move to make you feel special again and subtly remind you of the bond you once shared. Beyond just words, her actions also become more deliberate. She may start complimenting you more often, praising things about you that she never openly acknowledged before. Whether it's your ambition, confidence, intelligence, or even your physical appearance, she begins to highlight what makes you unique. This is her way of reaffirming your value in her eyes and making sure you recognize that she still admires you. Her compliments are not just about flattery. They are an attempt to rebuild the attraction that may have started to fade. Another major shift you'll notice is her increased physical presence. If she has the chance, she will find ways to be around you more often. She may unexpectedly show up at places she knows you'll be, make excuses to be in your company, or suggest meeting up casually. If you are in the same social circle, you'll see her becoming more involved in group gatherings where you're present. She may also start dressing up more when she knows she'll see you, ensuring that she looks her best to capture your attention. The goal is simple. She wants to remind you of what first attracted you to her in the first place. In addition, she may suddenly become more supportive of your goals and interests. If she previously showed little interest in your hobbies, she now asks about them or even expresses a desire to participate. She may suggest watching your favorite show, listening to the music you like, or even reading a book you once recommended. This change is an attempt to create a stronger emotional bond by aligning herself with the things that matter to you. She knows that shared interests and emotional investment are powerful tools in rekindling attraction. However, it's important to approach this situation with clarity. While her newfound attentiveness can feel good and even flattering, you must ask yourself why it took your distance for her to make this effort. Is she genuinely realizing your value, or is she simply reacting to the fear of losing control? The key here is to maintain your composure. Don't immediately reward her increased effort by becoming overly available again. Instead, observe her consistency over time. Is she truly invested in making things better, or is she just trying to regain your attention temporarily? A high-value man remains unaffected by sudden changes in behavior. He recognizes when someone is putting in genuine effort versus when they are acting out of insecurity. If her attentiveness is sincere and long-lasting, it may indicate that she truly values you. But if it fades the moment she feels she has regained control, then it was never about you. It was about her need for validation. The best response is to continue focusing on your own goals and priorities, ensuring that you never become dependent on her attention for your sense of self-worth. If she truly wants to be part of your life, her actions will prove it over time. Number 2, she tests your resolve. When a woman senses that she is losing control over your attention, she may start testing your resolve to see if you will revert to chasing her. These tests can come in many forms, some subtle, some more direct, but the goal remains the same, to gauge whether you still crave her validation. This behavior stems from human psychology, where people tend to value what is difficult to obtain. If she feels that you are slipping away, she may instinctively try to re-establish her influence over you by challenging your emotional strength and patience. One of the most common ways she tests your resolve is by pulling back herself. She may suddenly become less available, take longer to respond to messages, or cancel plans at the last minute just to see how you react. If you immediately start chasing, questioning, or trying to win back her attention, she gets the confirmation that you are still emotionally attached. However, if you remain unbothered and continue living your life, she will take notice, and this can actually increase her attraction toward you. Women are naturally drawn to men who are self-assured and emotionally stable, not those who panic at the first sign of distance. Another way she might test your resolve is by bringing up other men, either subtly or directly. She might mention that someone else is interested in her, talk about an ex, or post suggestive things on social media to trigger a reaction. This is a classic tactic used to provoke jealousy and see if you still care enough to react. If you show insecurity, jealousy, or emotional instability, she will see that she still holds power over you. But if you remain composed and indifferent, she will realize that you are not easily swayed by emotional manipulation. This makes you appear more confident and attractive, as it signals that your sense of self-worth does not depend on external validation. Additionally, she may start challenging your boundaries, seeing how much you are willing to tolerate. She might make unreasonable demands, act unpredictably, or push you to compromise on things you previously stood firm on. This is her way of testing whether you have truly evolved or if you can still be influenced by her actions. A high-value man does not waver. He maintains his standards, remains firm in his boundaries, and does not allow emotional games to dictate his actions. If she sees that you are unwavering in your self-respect, she will either step up to match your energy or realize that she can no longer manipulate you. Some women also test a man's resolve by provoking arguments or creating unnecessary drama. They may criticize you, make passive-aggressive comments, or start unnecessary conflicts just to see how you handle pressure. If you get defensive, overly emotional or reactive, it shows that she can still control your emotions. However, if you respond with calmness and emotional detachment, it demonstrates that you are not easily rattled. A man who remains composed in the face of emotional turbulence earns both respect and attraction. Ultimately, the key to passing these tests is maintaining emotional control. Do not react impulsively, do not chase, and do not allow yourself to be drawn into unnecessary drama. If she truly values you, she will respect your strength and see you as someone worth pursuing. If she was only playing games, she will eventually lose interest when she realizes that her tactics no longer work. A high-value man remains in control of himself at all times, never allowing temporary emotional tests to dictate his behavior. Number 3. She becomes emotionally unpredictable when a woman senses that you are pulling away or no longer prioritizing her the way you once did. She may start displaying emotionally unpredictable behavior. One moment, she might be warm, affectionate, and engaging, trying to draw you back in, and the next, she might be distant, cold, or even confrontational. This emotional volatility is often a reaction to the perceived loss of control over the dynamic between you and her. It is not necessarily something she does consciously, but rather an instinctive response driven by fear, confusion, or a desire to test your emotional resilience. At times, she may shower you with attention, sending you sweet messages, initiating conversations, or showing more interest in your life. She may reminisce about the good times you shared, act more caring than usual, or even bring up personal topics that create emotional closeness. In these moments, she appears invested in reconnecting with you and re-establishing her presence in your life. However, this behavior can quickly shift without warning. Just when you think she is opening up, she may suddenly withdraw, ignore your messages, or act distant, as if she has lost interest again. This push and pull dynamic creates emotional confusion, leaving you wondering where you truly stand with her. Another common sign of emotional unpredictability is mood swings. She may be playful and flirtatious one day, then irritable or dismissive the next. Sometimes her frustration might not even be directly related to you, but rather an internal struggle as she tries to process the shifting dynamics of your relationship. If she was used to having you chase her, she may now feel insecure about whether you still want her. This inner conflict can manifest in sudden changes in her tone, energy, and attitude toward you. In some cases, her unpredictable emotions might also lead to unexpected outbursts. She may pick fights over small things, act overly sensitive, or accuse you of being indifferent or distant. This is often an attempt to provoke a reaction from you, to see if you still care enough to engage emotionally. If you take the bait and start explaining yourself, apologizing, or trying to reassure her, she regains a sense of control over the situation. However, if you remain composed and refuse to get drawn into unnecessary drama, she will start to recognize that her usual tactics no longer work. Social media is another place where her emotional unpredictability may become evident. She might post cryptic quotes, pictures that hint at her feelings, or status updates designed to trigger a reaction from you. One day she may share something that seems directed at you in a positive way, and the next she might post something that appears cold or indifferent. These mixed signals are a way of keeping you emotionally engaged, making you wonder if she is missing you or moving on. If you react impulsively, liking, commenting, or reaching out to her, she knows she still has an influence over you. However, if you remain detached and unaffected, she will eventually question whether her emotional games are even worth playing. What many men fail to realize is that emotional unpredictability is often a sign that a woman is struggling with her own emotions. She may not fully understand why she is behaving this way, But deep down, she is looking for reassurance, power, or a sense of security in the connection. However, if you get caught up in her emotional roller coaster, you will only reinforce the idea that she can control the situation through erratic behavior. Instead, the best response is calmness. A high-value man does not allow himself to be swayed by temporary emotional storms. He recognizes the pattern, remains unfazed, and continues to focus on his purpose and self-respect. Ultimately, a woman who is truly interested in you will eventually stabilize her emotions when she realizes that her unpredictable behavior does not shake you. If she was only playing games, she will either escalate her efforts or move on to someone else who is more reactive. In either case, your best strategy is to remain firm in your emotional control, never allowing her mood swings to dictate your actions. Number 4, she tries to reignite your interest. When a woman notices that your attention toward her is fading, she may take deliberate steps to reignite your interest. Whether it's a conscious effort or an instinctive reaction, she will attempt to pull you back into her orbit by becoming more intriguing, desirable, and hard to resist. This can manifest in various ways. She might change her approach, become more engaging, or even create situations designed to spark your curiosity and attraction once again. One of the most common ways she tries to reignite your interest is by improving her appearance. If she senses that you are no longer as invested in her, she may put extra effort into looking her best whenever she knows she will see you, whether in person or online. You might notice subtle changes, new outfits that highlight her best features, a different hairstyle, or an increased focus on fitness and self-care. If you follow her on social media, she might start posting more attractive pictures, showing off a side of her that she hopes will grab your attention. This is her way of reminding you of what you once found appealing about her, making you wonder if you made a mistake by pulling away. Beyond physical attraction, she may also try to recapture your emotional interest by becoming more engaging and charismatic. If she was distant or uninterested before, she might now initiate conversations, laugh at your jokes more than usual, or bring up shared memories that evoke nostalgia. She may ask about your life, interests, or future plans, anything to re-establish the emotional connection that may have been fading. The goal is to make you feel like she is genuinely interested in you again, prompting you to reciprocate that attention. Another tactic she may use is playing the mystery card. If she previously made herself completely available to you, she might suddenly become more elusive. She could take longer to reply to your messages, be vague about her plans, or subtly hint that other people are interested in her. This creates a sense of competition, making you question whether she is slipping away. The fear of losing something valuable can be a powerful trigger, and she knows that by making herself seem less predictable, she can increase your desire to chase her again. Social media often plays a significant role in reigniting interest. She might start posting pictures of herself out with friends, having fun, or engaging in exciting activities, especially if she thinks you will see them. The message is clear. She is living her best life, and if you are not part of it, you might be missing out. She might also post cryptic quotes about love, relationships, or self-improvement, hoping you will read between the lines and wonder if those messages are meant for you. This subtle psychological game is designed to spark curiosity and make you think about her more often. In some cases, she may even try to make you jealous. She could mention other men in casual conversation, bring up stories about past relationships, or subtly imply that she has options. This is not necessarily because she wants someone else, but because she wants to see how you react. If you show signs of jealousy, she knows you still care. If you remain indifferent, she might escalate her efforts or rethink her approach. However, one of the most telling signs that she is trying to reignite your interest is when she starts mirroring your behavior. If she sees that you have become more independent, focused on your goals, or less emotionally reactive, she may try to match that energy. She might suddenly talk about self-improvement, working on herself, or adopting habits that align with your values. This is her way of showing that she is still someone you would want to be around, someone worth reconsidering. Ultimately, how you respond to her efforts depends on what you truly want. If you are still interested in her, you can acknowledge her changes while maintaining your emotional composure. However, if you see through the tactics and realize that her sudden effort is more about regaining control rather than genuine affection, you can remain detached and let her actions speak for themselves. A high-value man does not allow himself to be manipulated by sudden shifts in attention. He recognizes the game, stays in control, and only invests where there is real consistency and effort. Number 5. She plays mind games. When a woman senses that you are slipping away or becoming emotionally distant, she may resort to playing mind games as a way to regain control and test your emotional investment. These psychological tactics are often subtle yet effective, designed to create confusion, insecurity, or an emotional response from you. While some women do this consciously, others may do it instinctively, driven by their own fears of losing power in the relationship. If you recognize these mind games for what they are, you can maintain your composure and avoid being manipulated. One of the most common mind games she might play is hot and cold behavior. One moment, she showers you with attention, sending flirty messages, calling you more often, or making an effort to be in your presence. Then, suddenly, without explanation, she pulls away, ignoring your messages, taking longer to respond, or acting indifferent. This inconsistency is intentional, designed to keep you on edge, making you question what you did wrong or what changed. The goal is to create a cycle where you crave the highs of her affection while chasing her during the lows of her indifference. If you find yourself constantly thinking about when she will return to being warm and affectionate, she has successfully drawn you deeper into her emotional web. Another common tactic is creating jealousy. If she suspects that you are losing interest, she might subtly or overtly mention other men, whether it's an ex, a co-worker, or a random guy who showed interest in her. She may post pictures with other men on social media, talk about how someone complimented her, or act excited about male attention. The goal is to make you feel like you need to compete for her attention, triggering your possessiveness and making you more eager to win her back. However, a high-value man understands that true attraction is never forced. If she is deliberately trying to make you jealous, she is testing your emotional control, not genuinely interested in others. Then there's the silent treatment, a classic power move used to gain the upper hand. She might suddenly stop communicating with you, leaving you confused and wondering what went wrong. When you reach out, she gives vague responses or acts distant, forcing you to analyze every past conversation for clues. This tactic is meant to put you in a position where you feel guilty or desperate to make things right, even if you have done nothing wrong. The moment you chase, she regains the power dynamic and feels reassured that you are still emotionally invested. However, the best way to counteract this is by mirroring her silence. If she pulls away, you pull away even further. Another manipulative mind game is playing the victim. If you start pulling away or setting boundaries, she may suddenly act hurt or offended, making it seem like you are mistreating her. She might say things like, "I don't know what I did to make you act this way," or "I guess I just care more than you do." This is meant to guilt-trip you into feeling responsible for her emotions and drawing you back in. Instead of allowing yourself to be manipulated by guilt, stay firm in your boundaries and recognize when someone is using emotions as a weapon. She may also employ mixed signals, sending confusing messages that keep you emotionally invested. One day, she talks about a future with you, drops hints about commitment, or acts deeply interested in your life. The next, she acts distant, avoids making concrete plans, or says she is unsure about what she wants. This unpredictability keeps you emotionally hooked, always trying to figure out where you stand with her. A woman who is genuinely interested will be consistent. If she keeps sending mixed signals, she is likely playing with your emotions to maintain control. Finally, one of the most toxic mind games she might play is blaming you for her actions. If she starts acting distant or flirty with other men and you call her out on it, she might turn the tables and accuse you of being insecure or controlling. This gaslighting technique is meant to make you doubt yourself, question your instincts, and ultimately accept behaviors that you would normally consider disrespectful. A strong man does not tolerate manipulation. He sees through these tactics and refuses to engage in emotional games. The best way to handle a woman who plays mind games is by maintaining emotional control and refusing to be manipulated. Instead of reacting emotionally, step back and assess whether her actions align with genuine interest or calculated tactics. If a woman truly values you, she will not need to create confusion, test your patience, or manipulate your emotions. She will simply be consistent in her actions. The moment you recognize these games and refuse to play along, you shift the power dynamic in your favor. A high-value man does not chase. He attracts by staying grounded, self-assured, and focused on what truly matters. Number 6. She attempts to reassert dominance. When a woman feels that she is losing influence over you, she may instinctively attempt to reassert her dominance in the relationship. This shift in behavior often comes after she notices that you are no longer as emotionally invested, responsive, or eager to please her as you once were. Whether consciously or unconsciously, she seeks to regain control, ensuring that she remains the one dictating the dynamics of your connection. This is particularly common in relationships where power struggles exist, or when she is used to being the one in control. One of the first ways she may attempt to reassert dominance is by challenging your independence. If you have started setting boundaries, prioritizing your personal goals, or simply spending more time on yourself, she may react by testing your willingness to choose her over other aspects of your life. She might demand more of your time, make passive-aggressive comments about how you've changed, or act upset when you focus on your ambitions instead of catering to her needs. This is a subtle way of seeing if she can still influence your decisions and keep you centered around her desires. Another common tactic is questioning your decisions and authority. If you have become more self-assured and less reliant on her approval, she might begin to challenge your opinions, dismiss your viewpoints, or even undermine your confidence. She may suddenly become more argumentative, criticizing the way you handle situations, suggesting that you are making poor choices, or positioning herself as the one who knows best. This attempt at dominance is meant to destabilize your self-assurance and make you second-guess yourself so that she can regain the upper hand. A strong man, however, does not seek validation from others. He trusts his own judgment and stands firm in his choices. A more direct approach she may take is using emotional manipulation to make you feel guilty or responsible for the shift in power. She might say things like, "You don't care about me the way you used to," or "I feel like I'm the only one putting in effort." These statements are designed to provoke an emotional reaction and make you question whether you are being neglectful or distant. If you respond by overcompensating, trying to prove your affection or devotion, she successfully reclaims control. However, a high-value man recognizes emotional manipulation for what it is and refuses to be guilt-tripped into surrendering his self-respect. She may also attempt to assert dominance through jealousy and competition. If she senses that you are no longer as emotionally attached, she may start subtly or overtly mentioning other men, hinting at her desirability, or making herself appear as though she has multiple options. The purpose of this is not necessarily to pursue other men, but rather to remind you that she has the ability to replace you if she chooses. This is a classic way to instill a sense of urgency and insecurity in you, making you feel as though you need to win her back before she moves on. However, the best way to counteract this is by remaining indifferent, showing her that you are secure in yourself and that you do not feel threatened by her attempts to create competition. Another power move she might make is setting ultimatums or testing your limits. She might push you into a situation where she demands more from you, whether it's commitment, attention, or proof of your devotion. For instance, she might say things like, "If you really cared, you would do this for me," or "I need to know where this is going, or I'll have to reconsider." This is her way of regaining control by forcing you into a reactive position. If you immediately comply out of fear of losing her, she successfully shifts the power dynamic back in her favor. Instead, the best response is to remain calm, unmoved, and willing to walk away if necessary. A confident man does not succumb to pressure. He remains in control of his own decisions. One of the final and most extreme ways she may attempt to reassert dominance is through emotional withdrawal. If other tactics fail, she might become cold, distant, or completely unresponsive, making you feel like you have to chase her in order to fix things. This silent treatment is meant to force you into submission, making you feel anxious about the relationship and eager to regain her approval. However, the key to maintaining control in this situation is to match her distance. If she pulls away, you step back even further. When she realizes that her absence does not shake you, she will have no choice but to re-engage on your terms. Ultimately, a woman's attempt to reassert dominance is rooted in her desire to feel secure and in control of the relationship. However, true respect and attraction are not built through power struggles. They develop through mutual admiration, trust, and confidence. A man who recognizes these dynamics and refuses to be manipulated maintains the upper hand, ensuring that his worth is never dictated by someone else's need for control. Number 7. She pursues you more aggressively. When a woman senses that she is losing her grip on your attention, her instinctive response may be to pursue you more aggressively. This is especially true if she is used to being the one in control of the dynamic, or if she suddenly realizes that your presence in her life is not guaranteed. The fear of losing something valuable often triggers a sense of urgency, causing her to shift her behavior dramatically. What once seemed like disinterest or emotional detachment may suddenly turn into active pursuit as she begins to chase you in ways she never did before. One of the most common signs of this shift is a sudden increase in communication. If she previously took her time responding to your messages or was inconsistent with her communication, she may now start texting you frequently, calling you out of the blue, or even finding excuses to start conversations. She might send messages that seem random, such as asking for your opinion on something trivial or reminiscing about a past moment between you. But the true purpose is to re-establish a connection and gauge your level of interest. This is her way of testing whether you will quickly engage with her, or if she now has to work harder to keep your attention. Another clear indicator of her aggressive pursuit is her desire to spend more time with you. If she previously made you chase her for plans or acted as if she was too busy, she may now begin suggesting meetups, asking to see you more frequently, or showing up in places she knows you'll be. She may even go as far as accidentally running into you, creating situations where you have no choice but to interact. This sudden shift in availability is her way of signaling that she is willing to make an effort to be around you, hoping that you will take notice of the change. Her efforts might also manifest in increased physical affection and flirtation. If she was once reserved or hesitant, she may now start touching you more, making prolonged eye contact, or using body language that clearly signals attraction. She might compliment you more often, laugh at your jokes even when they aren't that funny, or position herself in a way that makes her presence impossible to ignore. This change in behavior is meant to remind you of her feminine energy and rekindle any attraction that may have started to fade. A more intense form of pursuit comes when she tries to insert herself into your life more deeply. She might take a sudden interest in your hobbies, bring up shared interests more often, or even go out of her way to build relationships with your friends and family. This is her way of reinforcing her presence in your world, ensuring that you see her as someone who naturally belongs there. She may also start supporting your goals and ambitions more vocally, expressing admiration for your independence and drive, especially if these were the very things that made her take a step back before. In some cases, her pursuit can take on a more competitive edge, particularly if she believes there are other women in the picture. She might try to make herself stand out by emphasizing her value, subtly putting down other women who might be interested in you, or making it clear that she is the best option. She may also use jealousy to her advantage, bringing up stories of men pursuing her to see how you react, or attempting to trigger a sense of possessiveness in you. However, the true test of a high-value man is his ability to remain unaffected, staying grounded, and never allowing himself to be manipulated by such tactics. Her pursuit can also extend into more emotional expressions of longing and regret. If she realizes she took you for granted, she may now start reminiscing about your best moments together, bringing up old memories, or even apologizing for past behavior. She might say things like, "I didn't appreciate you enough," or "I didn't realize what I had until now." This is her way of trying to tap into your emotions, hoping that nostalgia or guilt might make you soften toward her again. While these words may be genuine, it's crucial to observe whether her actions align with them. True change is reflected in consistent behavior, not just temporary regret. In extreme cases, her pursuit might even involve making bold moves to secure your attention. She might show up unexpectedly at your workplace, leave notes or gifts, or even directly express her feelings in a way she never has before. These actions are all part of her attempt to reclaim the position she feels she is losing in your life. However, it's important to distinguish between genuine affection and desperation. A woman who is truly interested will respect your boundaries, whereas one who is simply reacting to the fear of loss may act impulsively in an attempt to regain control. Ultimately, when a woman starts pursuing you more aggressively, it's a sign that she sees your value and recognizes that she is at risk of losing you. However, the most important thing to remember is that your worth does not depend on her renewed attention. A high-value man does not allow himself to be swayed by temporary shifts in behavior. He remains consistent in his standards and does not fall back into old patterns just because someone suddenly realizes what they had. The key is to observe, maintain your self-respect, and ensure that any reconnection is based on genuine mutual interest rather than fear of loss.